Hey everybody, welcome to episode 57 of my South Lubbock Branch update series as I try to get this saw blade correctly installed in my jeweler's saw. I'm waiting on an order with some Fast Tracks quick sticks to show up. In the meantime, I thought I'd go ahead and prep the area. So I cut out some cork for a turnout pad, drilled holes for the throw bar and the feeder for the frog. And yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into a layout like this. There can also be a lot of fun too, especially when you reach certain milestones that we're going to see here in a couple of minutes. Let's follow this wood products train as it heads forth westbound into the helix. So what you're watching is this first journey on the YouTube channel of this train going this far around the peninsula. But we're not done, because I stayed up really late last night and managed to get this section of the layout operational. And so now I basically have continuous running. I do have to watch my turnout settings up on the upper deck, but other than that, I can go round and round. Whereas before now, I was pretty much limited to a point-to-point kind of operation. Now it's like a folded dog bone with a helix in the middle. But I'm not done, of course. There'll be the upper level built at some point. One other thing I did was install some more LED light strips and brighten up this area a lot. I still need to put some over there, but for now, this helps so much. My brother Marty had this track that he got. He said that the company that sold it is no longer in business. I was able to use it to hold up part of the light strip in a flat area. I'll be looking for some more of that. See if we can come up with some more of that. I often find myself rather annoyed trying to make a turnout pad fit and piecing little pieces of cork together. And I thought about it, and I figured that what I'd rather do is actually take a bigger piece of cork and just cut what would be a reasonable sized turnout pad out of that. So you notice I've extended this turnout both here and here to try to get to the point where at least the two tracks diverge. I'm far enough apart that they wouldn't be on the same piece of cork anymore. And then over at the other end, I've got it here. Probably could go a little bit further there with this piece to make it so that if I were if it was going up against another piece, it would work together. But anyway, I'm going to cut this one out and we'll see how it lays down. Okay, so you notice this isn't really all that pretty, but it will be better once the ballast is on it. Back to working on the road that leads out of the food facility over there and past Martins and Sons Manufacturing. I'll need to make a little piece to go right here, and I'm going to scoot the crossing over just a little bit to kind of match that. That's not glued down yet. I've got to paint this, so I got to get out the spray can, and I really wanted to cut out all the plastic I needed for that before I did it, as well as the pavement piece that's going to be at the other end of the building. Prepping the can of fine stone texture, and I've got my plastic parts for the road out here on the table, which is of course covered with plastic. That's all I'm doing with the fine stone texture. Just gives that plastic some roughness to simulate pavement. And I'll let that dry, and then we'll paint it with some black. Okay, so I did up a couple of extra pieces while I was doing that I may or may not use, but since I had the can out, I just went ahead and did it anyway. Time for the asphalt top coat. There's nothing toxic about the Woodland Scenics paint that I'm using. I just don't want it on my hands. Because, you know, I'm a fashionista. No, that's not true. Anyway, so probably should tape this down. As a matter of fact, that'd be a really good idea. Let's grab some food tape and make a small circle of it. Just enough to kind of tack it down while I'm doing this. All right. With all those pieces painted, we're just going to give them some time to dry and work on something else. Now with the new places of road in place, I think it looks pretty good. I'll have to come back and touch it up, but I'm going to give it a little bit more time to set up. I touched it in one spot and paint came off on my hand, so I'm going to let that dry a little bit more. And there's the back lot for Martin and Sons, and I'll get that white on the corner with a Sharpie, and then I can start like putting some ground cover and such around there. The fast tracks order showed up, so I was able to connect in the track. I also had to go get some more cork, but I was able to connect in the track that serves as kind of the main siding for the grain terminal. And I haven't really glued in that third track or anything yet. I'm considering making another turnout and actually having a little bit of a switcher pocket for the grain facility. And so, like I said, I haven't actually like permanently attached the grade there and that track, because I'm thinking about doing that first. And I think if I do that, I may have a little fueling facility back there too that could be shared by the yard that's going to be between this and the backdrop. Speaking of backdrops, I ordered a couple new backdrops, and well, this one turned out way bigger than I anticipated. When I went back and looked at the pictures on the computer, I realized that yes, I had cut it too big. So I'll have to redo that one. But the other backdrop I got looks really great. There's that chair banging up against the wall. Anyway, that one I put over here, and I'm really happy with that one. So I think I'm going to chop part of this one out and make some additional pieces out of it. One thing I want to do is actually bring it out to about the corner where the door is here, so that when you're looking at the view through the bridge, there's more than just the edge where the blue wall meets. I'm supposed to have a delivery soon of some new wire connectors that I really want to try out, so I'm resisting connecting power to this section. In the meantime, enjoy watching the 050 action as I test the rails here. I'm actually quite happy with that, even though with that 33-inch radius, the passenger car and the auto racks look a little ridiculous on it. Okay, so the new connectors showed up, and I'll show you what those look like in a minute, because I'm actually kind of excited about them. I always find most connectors to be kind of a bad orientation, but I have enjoyed these lever nuts that I got recently, my friend Jesus recommended. Well, I happened to trip over a Amazon, of course, listing for some lever nuts that were in a T shape. And I'll show you those, like I said, here in a minute. First, let's watch 1002 push a couple of auto racks around. And if this looks a little dark, it's because I've turned off the lower deck lighting. That's just a coincidence. That wasn't anything but just me goofing around with lighting. Anyway, so and this is just a demonstration of the rifle track, I guess you could say, for the grain facility functioning. It's not completely wired up yet, but I've got enough feeders on there that it's got power enough to work, at least for a reliable engine like this one. Okay, let's stop before I run into that. Okay, so let's peek underneath the layout for a second. See that? Those connectors right there? There's actually two of them. One orange and one blue. So I decided to stop monkeying around with the lighting and actually show you guys what this is, so you can see it. Okay. It's a lever nut, so it has the locking pieces on it. And you got to watch your fingers because it will pinch you. Actually, it's pretty strong. But the way I would use this is I would have my bus wire come through on one side and out the other, and then have my feeder wire go out that way. And like I said, orange and blue. And there's a little piece right here that can snap into this thing, and you can screw this and wire it, mount it somewhere. It's going to make my wiring look a lot neater than it is. That is a T11 push-in lever nut connector, and the brand on this thing is CHQ HJIA, and if you didn't get that, I'll try to put it in the description because nobody's going to remember that. It's almost as bad as like back in the 90s when there was this little slot in the laptop which they called a PCM CIA card, which I used to say stood for people can't memorize computer industry acronyms. I didn't come up with that, but I thought it was funny. Anyway, let's see. Well, guys, I think we're going to call that good for episode 57. I need to get my stuff together. Tomorrow, I'm driving up to Linden, Washington for a train show this weekend. Looking forward to seeing some people I haven't seen in a bit, and having some fun running trains and shooting the bull about trains. Imagine that. Until next time, have fun with your trains out there and stay safe. And if you're local, maybe I'll see you up at Linden.